All Blacks building depth that is set to prove a game-changer at 2019 World Cup. As insurance policies go, Steve Hansen may just have a dandy a couple of years out from the next World Cup. The All Blacks have been better, for sure, but have they ever been deeper than they are right now? It's a legitimate question to ask as Hansen leads a 43-strong Leviathan around France and the UK this November. They will briefly number 44 when Ioane joins them from his Maori commitments in Bordeaux and then return to a more modest 37 following the Lion midweeker, by which time the injured Jerome Kaino and a half-dozen Babas ring-ins will have jetted back to New Zealand. The answer to the earlier question is almost certainly no. This may not be an All Blacks squad humming on all cylinders, a la the 2015 World Cup champions, or their 2016 successors, or even the 2013 perfect year men, but they are deeper than Voltaire, which could yet be the single most important advantage they hold over their global rivals heading towards Japan in 2019. Rugby is a brutal, gladiatorial game, and only getting more so. The professional level of the sport is played nigh on 10 months of the year, and it is exacting a massive toll. Injuries are becoming not just a part of the game, but the dominant factor any coach has to combat when preparing for a campaign of any sort. France had 19 players officially unavailable for their test against the All Blacks at Stade de France, and that's just 9 games into the new Top 14 season. Clubs in the UK and France are already dealing with long-term injury lists as high as 15 or 16. With some struggling to put full squads on the park. Of course Hansen knows this. And his 2017 campaign has been mapped out to reflect it. It's no coincidence that the All Blacks added a Barbarians and midweek French 15 match to their 3 mandated tests on this tour. That created, in effect, 2 non-test matchups, and gave Hansen the ideal stage on which to run his dirties, or second-tier men. It's all very well bringing people on tour for experience, but if you can give them legitimate international matches as well, then even better. Ironically, injuries in his own group have also helped Hansen further build his depth this year. He had 7 top players either crocked or unavailable for personal reasons when he set out for London, and Kaino became the 8th when a knee injury forced him out after the Babas clash. By manager Darren Shan's count, the All Blacks have used 55 players in and around their various engagements in 2017, and that is an unprecedented number. It is also a number that won't upset Hansen and assistant Ian Foster as they look to build a depth chart that they're chasing rivals, such as England, Ireland, the Springboks and Australia, can only look at with envy. The All Blacks have legitimate international quality 3 deep in probably every position bar halfback. And you can bet finding a successor to the departing Torreker Barlow will be their #1 priority in 2018. We're trying to grow some more depth, and we're doing that, says Hansen. People don't understand just how tough it is when you first come into the All Blacks. They expect the result to be clinical and precise, but the reality is that's not the case. Sometimes, particularly when you've got a young group, there is going to be inconsistency. You've just got to be patient and take your time. I know for a fact we'll end up with some quality people, at the end of this tour, and have a good group to be able to select from in 2019. The key thing this year is we've had a number of injuries, suspensions and personal tragedies that have exposed a wider base than we probably thought we would do this year. But at the beginning of next year, when everyone is available, we should have a bigger pool to pick from, and more experienced people too, which should give us a boost to the next level. Think about it. Bring back Ben Smith, Nee Milner-Skudder, Israel Degg and maybe even a rejuvenated Ardie Savea, and suddenly you have all sorts of options in the back 3. Same when you add Owen Franks and Joe Moody to the suddenly bulging prop stock. Halfback is the only position where Hansen would have just a little concern. Maybe no 8-2, but there are not a lot of opportunities there behind the skipper. At no 9, behind Aaron Smith and TJ Panaura, he does not have an obvious backup. It's why he brought Kerr Barlow on one final tour, even though he is departing at its end. But this is New Zealand rugby. That hole will be plugged soon enough. Mitchell Drummond has had a week with the Babas, and now one with the All Blacks. Brad Weber remains a contender. Same with Ioane and Bryn Hall. The national coaches just need to see more from them. We're giving other people an opportunity to grow and get an understanding of what All Blacks rugby is about, adds Hansen. Northern tours have always been about bringing extra people so we can develop them. It's a good platform. You're in a touring environment where things are quite intense for a month, and you get a good look at the young guys. One of our big aims for the year was to expose young guys to touring, test match rugby and playing for the All Blacks. By the end of this season we would have done that in bulk. Have a look at this depth chart, and judge for yourself where Hansen's All Blacks stand less than 2 years from the World Cup. Sure, they've had a wobble or two, but simply no one, England included, can match them for depth.